everyone.
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Board of Selectmen meeting for September 26th at 6 p.m., we're now at 6:03. And I welcome everyone. Just to let everybody know, we're recording on Zoom. We are recording on cable, and it will go to social media after. If you get a chance to talk, please state your name and the reason you're here, where you're coming from. So if somebody wants to review the video, they'll know what's going on or what happened. To get us started, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. And we have the opportunity to have our superintendent of schools with us tonight.
Thank you,
Steve?
Mr. Chairman. So as we did last year, I'd like to attend monthly meetings, just to give you an update on the progress and what's going on at the school, and things that will impact the town as we move forward, or things that are gonna positively impact the town as we move forward. The first update is our IBAC grant. We talked about that last year. It's a $306,000 grant that's gonna help change the controls at Quabog Regional Middle High School. We will be pushing that out. All the RFPs have been out, and we'll come back with a bid, and we'll have to secure a vendor by the end of November. We'll look to do that project over the summer, next summer. So we're still in line for that IVAC grant. The grant does not cost the town any money. It's a grant that we've received through DESI. We are going out to bid on transportation this year. I know that we talked about transportation last year. We had a 5-year contract with our current transportation vendor. Last year was our 5th year, which was our opt-in year. We were very fortunate to only have a 2% increase last year on transportation, because that's the way the contract was laid out. But we will be going out to bid. The bid is being put together now. We'll go out to bid in November, at the beginning of November for that. Typically, we've gone out to bid in March or February and March, but I don't think that gives us adequate time to build our budget for FY26, which I hate to already start talking about, but you know that we have to. So we want to make sure that we have numbers that we can plug in, so we can be accurate with our budget as we go forward. We will be beginning teacher negotiations. That will begin in November. The current contract runs from 23 to 25. This contract teacher's current contract will expire at the end of this school year. So those contract negotiations will start taking place in early November. We're hoping that the contract negotiations go relatively well, and that we can get that buttoned up as quickly as possible. So once again, we can figure out what our budget's gonna look like as we head into FY26. We were looking at a lighting upgrade, where we were looking to upgrade the stadium field lighting. We did look for an incentive program through National Grid at 50% of the cost that would be taken off the top. Unfortunately, we did not qualify for it. The qualifications was at least 1,000 hours of usage on the stadium lights. When we stretched it out, the highest we could get was about 500 hours, and it didn't meet the minimum. I was speaking with Town Administrator Ferreira about potentially looking at a capital improvement plan, and one of those things that we preliminary discussed was possibly looking at the auditorium lights within Quabog, because it's a area, not only is the stadium an area that the community uses to walk at night and things like that, but the auditorium the community uses for town meetings and things like that. I did reach out to National Grid, because I know that we have a greater usage in the auditorium than we do at the stadium. So they did come out last week, and we're gonna find out whether we can qualify for that incentive for the auditorium lights, which would significantly defray that cost. So I will keep you updated on that. We run a safety committee. The safety committee is made up of the Warren Police and Fire, the West Brookfield Police and Fire, a member from Homeland Security, a member from the Massachusetts State Police, and we do meet on a monthly basis to look at our crisis plan, to look at other things that are going on within our communities and nationally to see what we need to be prepared for. I know I say it every month that I come here. I can't speak highly enough of Chief Millette or Chief Lavoie for the efforts that they put in and the dedication that they have to our school and our community. One of the recommendations that came out of the safety committee was the ability to see into rooms on the lower levels. We did reach out to FlexCon, who is out in Spencer, and they donated a two-way barrier or two-way film so that you can't see into the classrooms on the bottom, but you can see out of them. When we roughly looked at this as part of the safety committee, it was upwards of $100,000 to do all three buildings. FlexCon donated the materials to do Quabog, so we're looking at how it looks at Quabog. We think it looks fantastic. We're gonna complete the school, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna look at Warren and West Brookfield Elementary School. So once again, safety obviously is one of our highest priorities, and we're doing everything we can to provide a high level of safety, but without costing the towns any money. So we're fortunate to have such great businesses within the community to help support us. Thank you to Jeremy Olson and the Warren Highway Department. Jeremy always makes time for the school. He was up there with his workers. They filled some potholes in the parking lot at Quabog as well as the parking lot at Warren Community Elementary School. We had some brush that was overgrown that Jeremy had sent Jim down. Thank you, Jim, for doing that. Jimmy down to help out with some of the management of that. So Jeremy has been a great partner for us as well. So we work very closely with Jeremy in the Highway Department. Town Administrator Ferreira, I can't thank you enough, and Town Administrator San Angelo. We will be having a presenter come out on December 11th, Chris Herron. I know that the town of Warren and the town of West Brookfield received some opioid money, and both towns thought, and I did as well, that this would be a great opportunity to provide some education to our students while they're at an age where it's really beneficial for them to hear the message through Chris Herron. So he will be coming out, and like I said, Town Administrator Ferreira was instrumental in getting this done and helping the school district out by not charging the district for it, but using opioid funds to do this, which is a great use of those funds to help educate our younger population within our district. We are partnering with the Parks and Rec and the Warren PTO on October 26th for Trick or Trunk. It's usually a very, very big event. Country Bank comes in and does a pumpkin carving competition as well. Parks and Rec are going to help out with that event. Sue Ramsey reached out to the PTO as well as myself and the building principal. So we're going to have a combination where we have a spooky hallway that's put on by the NHS and Student Council, and then the Parks and Rec will be doing some s'mores and things like that. So I can't thank Sue enough for her efforts, once again, to bring the community in. In terms of academics, there was an embargo on our MCAS results, which was lifted on Tuesday morning. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education classifies districts two ways. You're either in need of assistance or you're not in need of assistance. Quabog Regional School District continues to provide an excellent education to our students, and I'm proud to announce that we are not in need of assistance again this year. And on top of that, in Worcester County, Quabog Regional School District, it had the highest percentage gain for third grade math. So for those of you who look in the Telegram and Gazette, Quabog was recognized as being the leading district for that specific area. So the tax money that people are paying to educate their students and take care of their kids is being well spent, and we're starting to see, well, not starting, we have seen the results for many years, but it's starting to be more recognized within Worcester County and in the Telegram and Gazette. We did speak of the EMT class last year. As you know, we work very closely with the Warren Fire and Police and West Brookfield Fire and Police Departments to identify any gaps within the community that we think that we can offer programming for our kids that will help better our kids, but also provide opportunities for them for our local towns in areas where sometimes it's difficult to find people. I know that you know about the success with the Fire Academy. We had 9 kids either in the Warren, the West Brookfield, or North Brookfield Fire Departments that came out of last year. This year, we have a great crew that are in the fire academy, but we will also have the EMT class this year. I know that probably Chief LaVoy talks about how difficult it is to find EMTs, and I know he's running around covering all sorts of things. So this EMT class will have 7 students in it, and we're hoping to have 6 out of the 7 tested by the end of the school year. So that'll provide some further opportunities for people within our communities. We do have a new finance director. Beryl Wagner was our prior finance director. Beryl was more on the municipality side than on the regional side, but she did a very good job for us last year after we moved away from TMS for a consultant service. We did pick up a new finance director who will start next Tuesday. Her name is Nicole Gonzalez. She is spectacular. She knows, she has done our EOI and our E&D for the last year and a half, so she's very familiar with the district. She knows where we are financially and will be a great asset to us. We also picked up a new payroll specialist because our payroll specialist moved to a district closer to home. Some of you may know, and maybe Rich knows our new payroll specialist is Lorena Prokop. Lorena did work for the town of Warren probably, I want to say 8 or 9 years ago, and then she was the payroll specialist for the for Spencer East Brookfield School District for 6 years. Lorena is spectacular. We're very fortunate to have her, and with our new finance director and Lorena in place, I think that things are going to run very smoothly. We are actively seeking grants for a math curriculum. We did receive over $250,000 worth of funds over the last 2 years for our ELA, our English curriculum at the elementary buildings for grades K through 5 and 6 through 9. We are starting to look at, it's called high quality instructional materials. You'll see those buzzwords every now and then. It's HQIM. We are applying for a grant for that for our math curriculum, so we have the same math curriculum at both our sister elementary schools, led by our curriculum teams at the elementary building. So we're looking forward to being able to purchase new math materials next year through grant funding, so once again, so that it doesn't touch the town assessments. We did receive our Student Opportunity Act. Student Opportunity Act, if you look at Governor Haley and the big push on literacy, we were able to hire a literacy coach last year, which once again wasn't in the operating budget through the grant through the state. We did receive that grant again this year, and we were able to rehire a literacy coach for grades K through 5 that helps out and does a lot of coaching with our new Wonders curriculum, which is that ELA curriculum we bought through the grant. So the Student Opportunity Act came through again, so we're able to pick up to retain a literacy coach. Grant funds, just so, and I know we talk about it a lot, but grant funds can't supplant, it can't take the place of an existing position. It can only supplement the programming that you have. So I couldn't use that grant funding to say I'm going to pay my first grade teacher for it. It's to bring somebody else in to help with a specific initiative. We will be working on our capital improvement plan, which we will submit to the Finance Committee as well as the Board of Selectmen. I did speak a little bit, very briefly, with Town Administrator Ferreira. We'll continue those open lines of communication on that and try to get a capital improvement plan to the Finance Committee and to the Board of Selectmen so that you can see some of the capital improvement things we're looking at. We did speak at the last budget subcommittee meeting and school committee meeting. For those of you who don't know, all meals in Massachusetts for school children are free and they're reimbursable. So the more that students are eating, the more students that you can get to eat, the more reimbursable meals you have. So we're able to build up revenue through our food service department. That has to go right back into the food service department. We just bought a new dishwasher for Warren Community Elementary School. It was $47,500. That's how much they are now, which is kind of crazy.
I'm just trying to get one for the senior center. It was 20 grand,
Yeah,
over 20,000.
Over $20,000. So once again, that doesn't touch capital improvement. That doesn't touch the operating budget because it goes to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. In West Brookfield, we're replacing a food line, and at Quabog, they're repainting the inside of the kitchen area. Once again, this is all through the food service department, which doesn't come to the operating budget. And DESI is very specific what you can spend those funds on. Missy Mansfield, who's our food service director, has done a spectacular job of doing a rolling inventory of the capital equipment that she has in the cafeteria. We have stuff that's been there for over 25 years that certainly needs to be updated. So she'll continuously update that as we continue to build those funds, but we can only carry 3 months of surplus. And we're way over 3 months because Melissa is very, very frugal. And, but when we did our audit, they said that we need to start spending some of that money because we can't have that much sitting in an account for food service. So Melissa's done a spectacular job with that. And my last piece is Student Council and National Honor Society will be doing fall cleanup, 2 hours for any elderly or disabled folks within the community that need help with leaf cleanup or any type of fall cleanup. They'll go for no charge. It's community service for them, and they'll help with any members in the community that need help cleaning up from the fall, because as you know, the leaves will start falling pretty soon, and so anything that they can do to help support. There'll be a flyer that goes out, but we ask that anybody within the community that needs assistance with that to please reach out, and we'll do everything we can to get to them. And that's what I have for the month of September.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
I'm sure I had a question. There were so many things, though, I can't remember now, so. No,
I did write them.
I just,
At the beginning, you mentioned something, I just couldn't catch up with it.
Yep.
It was the IVAC grant?
IVAC,
Your
yeah.
first item?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is it?
That's the control systems like we did at Warren Community Elementary School, and we did the Green Community Grant with.
What is a control system?
For the heating system,
Oh,
so,
okay.
From the pump to the classrooms, so.
Gotcha.
And what we're hoping is, and we've already seen it in Warren for a very short period of time because it hit like in March of last year. But the savings that we're anticipating on
course, yeah.
fuel and energy should be significant. And this one's, you know, $304,000 is a pretty hefty chunk of change.
Yeah? Did you,
okay, transportation, what are you looking at for a new term? Are you trying for 5 years? I forget, I remember you bringing this up. and I-
Yeah, so typically when transportation comes out, in the school committee, I think, is gonna do a 3-year transportation bid with a 2-year opt-in at the end of it, like we did with our last one.
Okay,
When we went out for a transportation bid last time, or 2 times ago, we didn't have many bids, so we went to a 5-year. You would bid it by route, you could bid it by lot, or you could bid the whole thing.
oh, yeah,
So we went out for 5 years, the 2 cycles ago, thinking that if you guaranteed a 5-year contract, you can lease buses for 5 years, and then there's an incentive to bid on it. And we had 1 bid. So this year, we're gonna stick with our 3-year bid with our 2-year opt-in, just in case any kind of movement happens between now and then.
And what are you trying to bid, the whole thing
The
or
whole thing.
routes? Or the
Yep.
whole thing, okay.
Yep. We feel like we have better luck with the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 1 bus company than have, you know, 1 bus company doing 2 routes, another bus company doing 2 routes, and a third. It's just easier to deal with 1 company.
Mhm.
You know, and I can say that John Lysak has been very good to us. We never have any issues with transportation. So to say, he's always on time and things like that. He's been very flexible with us, but at the same time, there's a process that we have to go through to make sure that we're doing it the right way and we're getting the most bang for our buck so we can help keep the assessments down.
Yeah,
very good. We are very happy to have you here. We appreciate that. I know everything, you know, all the things that you do and everything, and I can only add, you mentioned something about the kids doing very well, and that's how you prove that the money from the town, the residents, is well spent. Well, let me tell you this. I work for a company and we have an IT group. The team is like 12 or 15 members. The best server guy we ever had is from Quabog. And he knows you, he knows a lot of, we talk about the school all the time. So, you know, he's a super, super guy.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, keep on, because you're making, you know, the kids building a good future.
And our teachers do a wonderful job.
Oh, teachers are wonderful.
And that's, it takes an effort, and it's Jerry, it's, you know, it's Jerry, it's Adam, it's Jeremy, it's, Nate, it's everybody, you know, and the nice part about Warren is everybody chips in together. Jerry's up doing bus duty with me every Friday morning. Adam's bouncing in and out of the fire academy, and
Yeah,
you
we
know,
are a
the
big
kids know
family.
everybody. Yeah, no,
It's a
it
big,
really
big
is.
family.
It's outstanding. I couldn't ask for
Yeah,
better
you can tell,
partners.
you know how, on the trips, how the chauffeurs of the buses, they say, well, these kids, they behave very well. You know, because they can compare apples to apple, you know, it's a wonderful thing to have you here.
We're fortunate. And once again, I thank you guys for your continued support. And we'll continue to do the best that we can to move forward and continue our partnership.
Excellent. Jim?
Thank you.
Nope, good. Thank you, Steve. All right. Number 1, discussion and possible vote to allow the Quabog Youth Baseball Team to use the gym at the Shepherd Building for practice during the winter month. Anticipated vote.
Sure.
And this would be after the election, right, Karen?
Yes, it would start after the election. It would start probably the week before Thanksgiving. And I checked with Lori. She said that's fine. She'll be done with the gym by then. And then he said at one time it might be only Sunday night for a few hours, so they would only use
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna ask about the scheduling.
Yeah, so they'd only use it Sunday night for a few hours.
I like the kids, you know, doing sports. You wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve to have the Quabog Youth Baseball Team allow them use of the gym for practice during winter.
I second that. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye, motion approved.
I'll let them know.
Kids get to use the gym, yay. Discussion on possible setting a special town meeting date for Thursday, November 21st at 7 PM. Anticipated vote?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's hard to believe that special town meeting is almost around the corner. So, you know, in talking with our town clerk, in looking at some dates, and the town clerk reached out to Quabog to see what available dates are there. It appears that Thursday, November 21st is available. Thanksgiving is a little bit later this year, so I think last year it was around the week before Thanksgiving. So keeping in tradition and hoping in that we are going to be having all our free cash certified by that time. I think that gives us more than enough time to get that done. I think that November 21st would be a safe date, you know, for that. I don't know if this has any conflict with any members of the board or.
Fine by me. I just put it in my calendar.
Awesome. I think you were good.
Yeah.
7 o'clock work, is normal time, is that fine? or-
Yeah, and then we do a special, do we have a special? Oh, no, we wouldn't. Okay.
Still
We have
special.
a meeting
Still special.
with the attorneys half an
Yeah,
hour
usually,
before.
yeah, like at 6:30.
Yeah.
You know, we would meet with the moderator and and Jeff.
Did anybody check with the moderator?
I have not checked with the moderator yet.
Nope. Should we wait, or?
I mean, as long as it's okay with you guys, I can certainly check with him tomorrow, just to touch base with him.
Yeah.
It's okay with us.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we holding the vote?
Yeah, well, make a motion?
Yeah, let's make a motion.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for this?
It says, and
It says
Anticipated
anticipated
vote.
vote.
All right, so I'll make a motion to set the date for the special town meeting as Thursday, November 21st at 7 PM.
second, all in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's. Aye. Motion approved. next special town meeting, November 21st. Discussion and possible vote to open a special town meeting warrant on Friday, September 27, with all departments submitting warrant articles to the town administrator by no later than noon on Friday, October 11th. Anticipated vote.
Mr. Chairman, after consulting with the chair of the FinCom, it looks like FinCom is tentatively scheduled to meet on the 15th, the 22nd, and possibly the 29th of October. If we open the town meeting, the special town meeting warrant tomorrow, that would give departments a little over 2 weeks to get any anticipated articles to me by that Friday at noon. And then that would give us ample time to get the FinCom to review any articles, as well as the Board of Selectmen to review the articles as well.
I'm okay. You're good? That's what you need?
Yep.
Well, make a motion.
I'm not anticipating that there's gonna be a ton, but, we don't know yet.
Planning ahead is good. And leaving enough time to get it done. Make a motion, please.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to open up the warrant articles for the town meeting on Friday, September 27th, and close it on Friday, October 11th.
Not to close it,
Close
we
it,
will
just-
vote to close it, just
Oh,
to
okay.
have the articles by
Last submission,
your last submission, yeah.
October 11th.
I second that. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Review and discuss a letter of interest submitted by resident Mr. Jack Finney to serve on the Board of Assessors until the next municipal election, with a possible vote to appoint Mr. Finney at the next Selectmen's meeting on 10/3/2024.
Mr. Chairman, I received an inquiry from Mr. Feeney earlier this week. Mr. Feeney has lived in town for the past 15 years. He raised his family here. He works for an engineering company, global engineering company. He travels quite a bit. But he's an active member at the local church with close community ties. He is interested in serving on the Board of Assessors. We have one vacancy on the Board of Assessors currently. This would be until the next municipal election in May. This position, this vacancy has been advertised for quite some time now, well over 30 days. Mr. Feeney's resume is in your packets this evening. He had stopped by the office earlier this week. We had a discussion. We talked about the importance of the position. We talked about some of the requirements, statutory requirements of passing the 101 course, as well as taking additional modulars in the 200 series. He is willing to commit the necessary time to take the courses and to complete them. He's willing to commit to having attending the meetings. I did let him know that generally the board meets a couple times a month, and as of recent they've been meeting during the day, and he's okay with that. He's interested in getting involved. Per the statute, this position is out there well over the time period. This will be considered at next week's meeting. The assessors have also received a copy of Mr. Feeney's resume for their review. In next week's meeting, the selectmen and the assessors will meet jointly to consider the nomination of Mr. Feeney.
How long would his term be?
Till May.
Oh, until the next municipal, yeah, okay. All right.
I'm good.
Is he interested in running?
He said that he very well could possibly be interested in running. If if he enjoys it, he's not opposed to running. He did mention, I did mention to him that there was a recent article at town meeting to move to an appointed board, and he wouldn't be opposed to doing that model as well. There's a potential that question could be put back on the special. I think that question only failed by 4 votes at the last meeting, so there's some potential there.
I think if he's gonna take all the courses and everything, he's just gonna feel comfortable with it and may go for the,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, his nomination would be before the board next Thursday.
Do we
Okay.
need to vote now?
No.
Okay. Next, we have our G. McKinnon report from the recent debrushing along the town's levee.
Good evening. Jim McKeon, the levy committee. I'm here to represent the levy committee tonight. Back on, starting September 9th through the 11th, we had a Northern Tree company work on cutting brush in the levee area, the stone, where you see the big stones along the river, which is from the waterfall, which you see from over the bridge, under the South Street Bridge to down to the first corner where there's a parking lot. They did both sides. The first day, they went from the waterfall to the corner of the river on one side. And then the second day, they did the other side of the river, which is that picture right there. Would be the west side. Most of the brush within in these rocks are that sumac tree, invasive vines, kind of trees that were like 6 to 8 inch diameter. There was a few larger pieces.
So where did you cut, like, right in here?
Yep, the crews basically,
Where the
for 3
rocks?
days, between the 9th and the 11th, there was three guys to the crew. They just went by hand and within the rocks very carefully and thrashed everything apart with saws. The first day they did the other side where, that side right there.
So all this, like, in
Yep,
here?
and that side right there has a lot of the invasive vines, smaller. They actually went back the third day and cut more of that. So as you see the brown in all these pictures, it's starting to decay each day. It gets more dried up, and so all this the brush is left on the stones. So the Army Corps, everything at 4 feet and higher got cut and thrashed. That's so. If this gets done, if we get it into a plan or a budget yearly to do this, maybe every fall or early spring, to keep this under control, or looking at possibly some kind of spray if it's allowed. That would be a whole nother, at least on the areas we did. There was one area we didn't do because it's railroad property from, if you're looking over the South Street Bridge to the left, you'll see a higher sumac, well, because it's railroad property. They'll be coming in and taking care of that at some point, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, first through November, somewhere in there. They actually have a train, I think, that reaches over and grinds all the brush right up on their right of way in their property. So, but if that doesn't occur, I'll report back to you guys, or we'll have to call a representative to check on that, because that's one whole side of the levee that's not getting any attention. And the
All
brushes.
this is gone to the Corps of Engineers? Are they,
I did send, I didn't get any response back, but I did send that we did it. But they haven't reached out to us, I believe, for another annual inspection.
well, I thank you for doing all this and reporting. I think it's very important,
Yeah.
since the levy, it's under our, jurisdiction, and we are responsible. And the deal here is, if we don't do this, we don't maintain it, and something happens, we are responsible for it.
This project here with the debrushing and vegetation control seemed to be their biggest concern.
I got
One of their-
that also
Yeah.
as well, so it's a good thing. It's a,
So it's,
it
and,
shows that the town is trying to cooperate.
yep,
So that's what they're looking for, cooperation.
Yeah. and I'm
Um,
very happy with the crew that did it. They seemed to do a very good job within.
And that's all in the budget and everything. And
Yep, that was, I believe the bill already went through.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, or?
Mm-mm.
I think one picture there is about like the size of the wood there. Yeah, that one. That's kind of the roughly, the general, that's what we had.
And do you think all that grows in
Bigger.
a year?
Well, that was that's probably 4 to 5 years. But you're looking at probably,
So every
3
year
inch.
from now, it's gonna be easier.
yes,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
if we keep up with this in this
Yeah.
area. Though sometimes when you cut this, it does tend to sprout more, so we'll just have to monitor it and see if incoming, is it worth doing some kind of,
Well, so
Control.
and everybody know there's a committee in charge, and you're
Yes.
speaking on behalf of them, and
Yep.
if for some reason you can't accomplish, don't hesitate, come here for help,
yeah,
okay?
okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we have warrants and bills.
All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. PR 12, $56,865.66. AP 12, $54,072.91.
You said 56 or 52?
On PR 12,
Yeah.
I don't know, $52,865.66. Just reading what's here.
That's good. I thought you said 56.
I might have.
No, I second it. All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. No, warrants approved.
All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following bills. Entree, $2,661.17. Power Products, $2,309.80. Modern Pest, $108. Master Telecom, $93.43. Merlin Leasing, $1,107.23. SBA Structures, $1,753.85.
I second that. All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Bills approved. Next, we have, did you want to do mixed correspondence? 5 and 6?
No, we're doing.
Minutes.
Minutes. It's printed correctly there.
Okay, so the minutes, review and approve the minutes for September 12th and September 19th. Yeah, well, David wasn't here. I,
No, you can probably get rid of this footer, but whatever.
Okay.
Okay, so the Tecton one, you might want to mention which parcel. So Town Administrator Report, bullet number 5,
Okay,
because that's the only place that this was a concern.
right, okay.
What did I ask about? Ask what it means that legal is looking at what paperwork for the 2 houses.
You asked Parks, Board of Health, you said, what is legal looking at?
For which 2 houses, though?
27 South Street and Main
Okay.
Street.
Okay, so maybe put that in
Okay, the
there.
addresses.
Yeah, in parentheses or something, just after,
Okay.
at the end of that. And stated that the Board of Health has run out of options to deal with the owners of the houses. And it needs to go to housing court.
One of them's a business, they're not both houses, right?
Is one a business? I didn't know
I
that.
think so, yeah. The Main Street one.
Okay. He just wants this. But it's still
What's
going to
tw-
housing
What's
court,
2020
right?
40 Main Street?
Village Market?
Oh, okay.
But it's still going to the housing court?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Oh, because of the upstairs apartments, okay.
okay.
Mr. Condrat stated his political option
Oh,
911
Sorry, that's
services.
supposed to be opinion.
And then is there a comma there? Political opinion 911 services?
Political opinion on,
Is it 911 or 9/11? September.
9/11.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, do like September 11th then.
Okay.
All right. If the town residents agree to this, it could be, I would say, I don't know that
Okay.
Ray actually did the calculations and made it set in stone.
Okay, could be. Got it.
Yeah. You were quoted as saying it will be a 16% increase, but I don't know.
Just put the word approximate,
Oh, I said could be,
yeah,
which is the, yeah.
well, was estimated to be.
Yeah, that would be fine too, yeah. Could be estimated, something
it.
like that, that does not
Yeah,
hold your feet to the fire.
yeah. Approximate for us.
If there are no other money that can be, if there is, if
Yeah,
there,
the taxes would go up if there was no other money.
if there was no other money,
That can be contributed.
what does that mean?
That it's going to go up 16, it could go up 16% if there's no other money that could contribute to the cause, to the project.
Oh, okay, so there should be a comma after taxes and then a
Okay.
small I. Okay.
The second unsafe shouldn't be there.
The what?
The order to vacate the building was unsafe both structurally and environmentally. It
Yeah,
shouldn't say unsafe again.
yeah. Also, I would, you should put his question in quotes, because it's hard to read. So
Okay.
Dusty posed the question, colon, quote, what happens, police were down, structural, what then, and then unquote.
Okay,
And then he stated that if there is money out there, comma, Mr. Ferrero will find it. I would get rid of to get.
okay.
On 912, old business. Highway department is looking for a company to do it, maybe? Instead of a painter?
Yeah, it's not really a painter.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, September 19th, town administrator, should be, Weston and Sampson was the winner. The winner of the
Selected?
bid. You could say selected,
So there's not a raise.
but Weston and Sampson isn't plural, that's my point.
Okay.
Yeah, Weston and Sampson were the winners, but it's one entity.
Yep, it's one entity.
You all set?
I'm all set.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended, edited, for September 12th and September 19th, 2024.
I second that, all in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Minutes approved. Jim, town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I do have a brief but important report to give to the board this week. On Wednesday of this week, we had all staff meeting with the UMass Collins Center at 9. We discussed the rollout of our wage compensation classification study that has, we've engaged with UMass Collins Center. At the meeting was an intro provided to all of our staff. We were able to also record the Zoom meeting with the Collins Center staff so that we can distribute that through any staff that might not have been present on Wednesday. And then subsequently, we went over a very important survey that the Collins Center has put together that asks specific questions about duties and responsibilities of everybody's role here in town government and the operations. This is not to be some type of job performance or anything that is going to be considered punitive in the future. This is an open and honest, frank discussion with the employee and the representative from the Collins Center so that this Collins Center can really understand the day-to-day duties and responsibilities of staff in every department here in town. So that when it comes time to make the assessment as to the salary range for each position, they can understand and clearly know what everybody is responsible for and what they do on a daily basis. They will also look at cleaning up some of our job descriptions, our position descriptions, making sure that everybody's is cleaned up and updated as part of the study. They will, the final culmination will also be a final proposed 3-year wage scale that we will get at the end. So this is, again, is to compile all this information. They will interview and meet with staff individually once they have received all of the responses back from every position that was listed on the wage scale and either elected or appointed through a contract. They will have a meeting with those individuals, go over any questions, and compile this information. This the questionnaire is due back by next Friday. We're asking all staff to have this back to us by next Friday so we can get all this information over to the Collins Center. The Collins Center will not start interviews until they have received a submission by everybody from that is on the position that they're contracted to review. So that has started. We're currently on track to getting this finished. Hopefully, by March of next year, so that we can, have this information so that departments can formulate and finalize their budgets. Also this week, I met with Entree Technologies, our IT provider, to go over the recent assessment that was done by our third-party TOS on some of the high-risk, mid-range, and low-range risks that have been identified by TOS that we should be looking at. You know, one of the risk categories that was highlighted on the TOS report was a redundant domain controller, which is like almost like a virtual server. So if our server was to go down, we would have a backup virtual server, and the process and our computers can continue on. That will also help alleviate any downtime in staff if the system is down. It was recognized as a need to have this addressed by TOS. Entree feels as though that they can get this addressed relatively soon by a licensing agreement and the installation of this software. That particular package, to get this checked off, done on the list, is about $1,700, $1,669. I think it's something that we can definitely get done right now. We have the funds to do it in our hardware and software account, that we can get this addressed. That's something that certainly, you know, if the board wants to do that, can direct me to do that. There's another, one of the items, not as you know, a high risk category, but still noted in the report, was dark web and monitoring. So we currently, under our package that we have with Entree, does not have dark web monitoring service. Dark web monitoring service for this would be an additional $100 a month for our current package. We have not budgeted for that. We would have to make an adjustment, you know, if the town wanted to have it. Something to consider. Dark web is, they will alert us if there's any of our email accounts are on the dark web, if there's potential risk of, you know, a password being sold on the dark web of the email. TOS had identified, I would say, about a half a dozen to a dozen, you know, email addresses at one point in time where they were on the dark web that were part of the town. You know, it's something that, you know, the town may want to look at to increase some security and to increase, you know, any potential exposure of sensitive information on the dark web. So those are two items there that we had talked about. We are still waiting to hear back from the cyber resilience grant application that we submitted a few weeks ago to see if by any chance we will be awarded some funds to take care of some of the aging infrastructure in our IT hardware workstations that have, you know, been identified by Entree and have been identified by TOS, and pose as a security concern moving forward, as well as also possibly not being able to use some of our machines in the future when you know, Windows 11 you know, becomes obsolete there. So I'm not sure if there's any questions on any of the on any portion of that part of the report. Yes.
I have a question. So the dark web monitoring, I don't know about the value of that. I would just assume all the emails are out there. All our social security numbers are probably out there. So it's just a matter of, at the at the front end protecting us. So if we do things like do a 30-day password reset, every 30 days, you know, you get a message and you have to reset your password or something like that. Or if we're using the multi-factor authentication,
We
Yeah.
have,
You know.
I'm glad you mentioned the 30-day reset. I had Andre set up our system that is gonna require people to, you know, to reset their passwords at 30 days. I'm sure we're not gonna be popular with a lot of departments and as they try to, you know, remember their passwords, but that's something that we're gonna definitely push out, just as an added security feature to everything. We have the UB keys as a form of multi-factor authentication. That was recommended by Northeast IT. Entree Technologies is not sold on those UB keys. They feel as though that, you know, yes, they provide some level of protection if used correctly. They feel as though that maybe some departments are not using them correctly, and they may not be as effective with some of their multi-factor authentication. So that's something that we're looking at, you know, finding, you know, trying to figure out some other solutions there to make sure that we have some additional protection there.
well, is it a problem with the device or with, is it a user problem, like education?
I think they think it's both.
Okay.
They think they haven't, you know, really determined if it's one or the other yet, but they feel as though there could be a combination of both. They feel that that there's some devices, workstations, that don't get turned on in a whole for 30 days. You know, so if it's a computer assigned to a board that may not use it, or if it's an email account that, you know, it's assigned to a board that they may not use it, or check their emails, you know, so that poses a risk and a problem, because then they're not getting the updates that are getting pushed through Microsoft and through the Sonic walls and all of our protection. So that poses a risk. So these are things that we're gonna continue to talk about and address at department head meetings, at board meetings, and to try to get everybody involved, to try to, you know, stress the importance. If you're assigned an email, make sure that you're checking it, make sure that you're participating in cybersecurity trainings, you know, all of this stuff. If it doesn't get signed in a lot of period of time, you know, over 30 days, that's a risk, because they're not getting their updates.
Well, so Microsoft does updates, it's once a month on Tuesdays? Or every week?
I'm not sure.
So, I mean, what might be useful is getting a report of computers that maybe haven't been turned on in 20 days or something.
We do have that report.
Okay.
Yep, we do have that. We can see what computers have not been turned on, or emails that have not been signed in on.
Yeah.
We can see, you know, if people are leaving their workstations and it's not, you know, logging somebody off, you know, a password, you know,
Yeah.
coming up, we can see all of that. And we have reports on that, so we're gonna be targeting a little bit more specifically to some departments to make sure that we can get those addressed.
So back to my original thing, I think it would be better to spend the $1,200 on a new computer for somebody, or a new laptop, to get somebody upgraded, as opposed to monitoring something that, you know, we're all out there. We've all been compromised. I mean, you know, I get letters all the time from, you know, "Oh, you have creditor monitoring now, and, you know, this was breached and that was breached." It's just, it's so prevalent that,
Yeah.
you know.
Let's just make a policy where it says if an employee is involved in any dark web, you know, you're gonna be penalized or something.
Well, I don't know if employees are doing malicious things, right?
But the system, what it is gonna do is gonna track all the network and see if one of them is poking into the dark web.
Oh, no, I don't think that's what it was. I
No,
was thinking it was
yeah.
saying like my email addresses being sold on the dark web.
Well, yeah, you can't prevent that.
Yeah,
It's
I
out
mean,
there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, our social security numbers, our
Everything's
addresses,
out.
our birth dates, all that stuff is out there. You just, you
To,
know,
to the chairman's point, you know, we can also see, and we do get reports on what people, you know, websites they
Yeah,
they
I was
visit.
going- yeah.
And there has been no, you know, inappropriate websites that any employee to date has visited, so,
Okay, that's good.
you know, that's good.
yeah, yeah. So I guess I just recommend spending the 1,200 on something. Like, it's better to upgrade a Windows 10 computer or buy a new computer than do the monitoring. Because that's,
Yeah, I think.
again, it's preventative right here as opposed to out there,
Yeah,
so.
I agree.
Okay, on the redundant domain controller, the virtual server, so if our server goes down, then we would have, you know, a virtual redundant control.
Yeah,
So what happens if the power goes out? All the computers turn off. The server is a computer, right?
So we have a UPS,
yeah,
um,
uninterruptible power supply.
yeah, so we
So
do have,
So it should shut down the servers and the workstations gracefully. Usually it hibernates them. But I think Derek's point is, if the power goes out everywhere, then no one has internet or anything anyway, so is it worth having that virtual server spin up?
you know, there is another solution as well, that Verizon has also, you know, looked at, it mentioned to the town, that they can offer, you know, a redundancy in internet through their 4G, 5G network, just like they do with the phones.
Yeah,
So if the power goes down, then it will go to the wireless network.
mhm.
But-
Is that 1,700 a year, every year,
No, one time.
one time?
Yeah.
Are we doing backups?
What's that?
Are we doing backups?
Yes, there are backups daily, but if the server does go down, then you have a potential of losing that data that day.
That day.
Before it backs up.
Yeah. Right.
Although sometimes, they might have a continuous backup too.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Like a carbonite will back up,
Mhm.
you know, every half hour, every hour. That might be good to know, is just how often. Is it once a day or is it a
It's
continuous?
usually in the evenings.
Okay. I mean, it might not be a bad idea if we can back up like after lunch,
Mhm.
right? So at least you captured the morning,
Mhm.
power goes out in the afternoon, you only lost half a day.
Mhm.
I'm gonna, just get a second opinion
Hmm.
with my server guy, which
Mhm.
it happens to be the guy I was talking
Yeah.
to, Quavo.
Oh.
Steve left, but,
Mhm.
just to tell us what is that, you know, virtual server thing,
Mhm.
because I don't know much about it. He
It's a
mentioned-
it's called the redundant domain controller, and that it will act as like a virtual server if your main server goes down.
So everyone would still be able to log in and do what they
Yeah,
need to do.
so, you know, it would provide the ability for people to get still access to the system.
If there's
it-
power.
Right, if there's power.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there's
That's where I'm
power,
going.
right. But say, for example, your server goes down and you still have power, this will act as, you know,
Yeah, if it fails, okay.
you know, this will act as a backup to your server. Because if you still have power and your server goes down, then nobody's still able to work.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that's,
Well, they can work locally. Oh, server's down, what happened? Turn it on back again.
right. Well, I mean,
Well, I don't know, can they? Because everything's in the cloud now, right?
No.
Aren't all their documents, or are they on your,
well,
They're
you
on
wouldn't
my
be able to
PC.
work like, you know, for example, Vadar. You know, that is a,
needs internet access?
that's part of running through the server. You wouldn't be able to access like Patriot properties.
Right.
You know, that's part of through the server. Those are apps that are on the server that you wouldn't be able to access. you would probably be able to access, your Word or your, Excel and stuff like that, but it would be very limited.
Yeah.
To be honest, it just looks too good to be true. I'm gonna say, this is why, when we install a server for a facility, we have two options, local, like we have here, and a cloud. And they both are very expensive. So we have the local, and now we're hearing about this,
So maybe we move it up to the cloud and be done with it.
but no, it sounds too cheap. It's not that simple. you know.
Yeah.
To
It is
have-
expensive.
It is very expensive, so it sounds too good. So I wanna find out more.
Yeah.
What is it? before-
So how much you said it was?
17 a
$1,700.
There's no maintenance fee or anything?
No, so that, it's about $1,000 for the license, and then $600 to have it installed,
And that's it?
yes.
See,
Really?
it sounds too good to be true.
Okay, I guess
Because
that would
A
be,
server is like $4,000 a year, that
yeah,
kind
I mean, in cloud, you pay by the hour.
yeah, it's like
Anything
4,000.
in
And the
cloud.
reason why I'm bringing this to the board's attention is because this was identified by TOS, the third party that came in and said, hey, look it, we got rated on our system, as to where we are for risk, okay? We're at 90% risk, which is, would seem high, but there's so many other people that are at 92, 93, 94, 95, that in all retrospect, it's probably all relative. But we are at a higher risk factor, higher risk factor. In order to get our risk factor lowered, they suggested one of their high risk category items was to get a redundant domain controller and to have this as part of our cyber, infrastructure.
Maybe it's so cheap because it only works if our server goes down and it doesn't.
Yeah, but
do
it needs to be
anything if it
backing
doesn't.
up all the time, so it has all the information.
Yeah, it takes
all
up
the time.
space in the cloud. That's where you get charged. You can have your stuff off, but you still have allocated disk space and stuff like that. And so they do get you that way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that to the board's attention. If you want to have that done, we can certainly do that.
Can we just get more info, like exactly what it would be, what it would do, and make sure the cost is, because if it's only $1,700 one time, I would say,
Yeah.
okay. But I would expect it to be more like $1,700 a month.
No,
or-
the
Something-
We pay
price is,
$400 a month on the smaller server,
Yeah,
on the cloud.
yeah, the price is what was quoted from Entree.
okay, yeah, if we could just get more info, what
Yeah.
that would cover, what it would do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if, in that kind of thing, if it's gonna be redundant, it's gonna be a continuous backup.
Right.
So realistically, the server fails at, 4:01, that other server will have everything on it from maybe 4 o'clock. Maybe it lost a minute, but,
There
It
has
should be
been
mirrored.
times recently that the server has gone down at 5:15 in the evening for, a period of maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Really?
And, they are looking into that. They're not sure as to why. But the Sonic Wall had detected that the server had went down for a period of time.
how old's the server?
The server's about mid-year through its useful life. It's probably about, I want to say 5 years old, about
Oh,
that.
it's old,
Oh, okay.
it's old.
Maybe
So
we-
maybe what we do is look into what
into-
are our options, instead of keeping this old thing
Mhm.
and doing that redundant, is maybe we look at a different situation completely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe
May
we
cost
do-
$34,000, but it's a new one.
Yeah, well, 3,400,
That's what I wanted to say.
yeah. Yeah, because maybe we just want to do a cloud server then,
Mhm.
I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
The whole idea is to have,
Go ahead. Say it.
Ray Copaco, resident of Warren. The whole idea is to have redundancy, not just to have a new server.
Right. But you
So-
can have redundancy with servers in the cloud too.
Right, for addition, that's not what's That's not what was offered in the, Jim's giving you the suggestions that Entree offered to them in order to make the server, in particular, one aspect of to mitigate risks is to have a redundant server.
Exactly.
If you're talking about having redundant servers in the cloud, you're talking about changing your basic configuration a little bit. So I don't mean to interrupt the conversation
No,
here, I
that's
just,
fine.
But the other thing, it's very specifically a domain controller, which is potentially different from a file server. So that's why I'm not sure.
right.
Domain controller lets you log into things. A file server has all your stuff on it.
Right, you would
So
need,
I'm not sure what we're really getting a redundancy on.
right, you
know.
need to have a direct conversation with
Yeah,
the
that's-
the Entree
Mo-
representative.
More information, just to make
Yeah.
sure we understand.
Sure.
Okay,
But
thank-
my thought is if it's 5 years old, we're gonna replace it maybe next year or 2 years from now, so we should maybe look at something.
Or
Yeah.
start looking.
What are our options,
Right.
right?
Right,
Yeah.
But this is, the redundant controller is virtual, so
Yes.
once you have the license, you own the license.
Okay,
So that would be, transferable to, another, server in the future if you
yeah.
got one.
Or if we move the server to the cloud, I guess,
Correct.
would it, you know?
Right. The town would have rights to this license. They would hold the license.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that was the discussion that we had, and we went over quite a bit of stuff with Entree on that. And I will get you some additional information with regards to the redundant controller. I did also this week have a meeting with Chief Lavoy and Chief Millette, as well as Jeff on the final report for the public safety complex. We looped in the financial advisor from Unibank. The number that was presented last week to the board was based on a $30 million project. I'm having the financial advisor run the numbers on a $25 million project, which would be potentially the other sites that was mentioned in the study. So those numbers will be incorporated into the final report, as well as the information that the chairperson of Elise had requested, as with that slide, that will be incorporated into the final report.
Oh, like a grid of everything.
I also asked for one more, which is just the police building.
Oh, did you ask for that?
Yeah, because it's gonna come into question, and we
Okay.
we have to prove that, why are we doing both entities in one? Because, at the long run, it's cheaper than just doing one now and then trying to find out to do the other one after.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so he will go over, the pros and cons for that. And he, within that report, it will tell you, the cost of the police station programming. And it will tell you the cost of the, fire station programming. And, it will also, he will also incorporate in there, if the project was to, say, be phased out, over the course of several years, you're going to potentially have, escalation costs, construction escalation costs year over year. You're going to have additional closing costs for any potential bonds that will be needed to fund the project. So those additional costs would have to be factored in, as well as if you were to do two separate locations. The whole purpose of trying to
Yeah.
combine them is to save on the square footage.
Yeah.
So
Common areas.
common areas,
Yeah.
bathrooms, training facility, all of that. We have about 1,000 square feet in public safety complex that is shared. So if you had, two separate locations and you're doing it over time, you're losing that 1,000 square feet. And every square foot of a public safety complex is roughly estimated at, $1,000 a square foot. So if you're talking 1,000 square feet at $1,000 a square foot, that's $1 million. So you're right there of, additional costs right there if you were to do the project separately.
Yeah.
Besides, you still have to maintain the old,
And you have to maintain the old buildings,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, while you're doing the
we
new
can't
ones.
sell that one.
Right.
To, we can't, Tectrum knows what I was
Right.
trying to say. What I want is, in one big picture, tell them, look, this is our castle in it. That was the first option, that, if
Yeah.
it was flat and everything, the best. And that will get 5 stars. And then we probably made 10 or 12 options from out of them. From those, we took the best 2 or 3, and we compare them to the best. And one will have 4.5 stars, the other one will have 4, And then we have the option to do just one police and the option to do nothing. And all of them have a price, believe it or not. You want to do nothing, you will say, oh, we saved $25 million. No, we don't, because we still have
Old building
an old building and a police to where we're going.
and liability.
Liability, so there's a cost issue, but I wanted in one slide to provide all that information to the public. So they know we did all our homework,
Yeah,
and these are the good, the pros and the cons,
So I had asked Jeff to work on that, so he's gonna incorporate that into the final report, as well as the financial piece. I know we released the $30 million, numbers last week. I've asked them to look at the other sites, which are, about $5 million less, what would that be in terms of, a 25-year note? And he's gonna get those, for us so that we can incorporate those into the final report. My goal is to have this report ready to done, go by October 1st, so that, it can be released to the public for public consumption, and the final touches can be put in there, into the report. So, it's important that the public has access to review this as much as they can and to digest this. So, that is our goal, and we're right on track to get that done. I do want to let the board know that I will be participating in a Mass Municipal Association of town managers and town administrators legislative breakfast on Friday, October 4th, in the morning in Ludlow. It's a good, that's sponsored by the Mass Management Association. And I think that would be a good, breakfast to attend, where we'll hear some legislative updates that I can report back to the board. I am planning to have a department head meeting on October 8th at 9, and we will have representatives from Maya, our risk management team, on site, making a presentation to our department heads on risk management, and, filling out accident reports and making sure that reports are filled out in a timely manner, and how to get access to any resources they may need should an accident happen. So they will be on site on the 8th. We'll give them some time, some question and answers. We will also have them back, in the future as well. And we will also earn credits for having them participate in our department head meeting. So we will earn credits, rewards credits, so that when we renew our liability coverage next year, we will have some additional credits that we can use towards the renewal. I will also throw this out to the board. The beginning of October, there will be a chance to pre-register for the MMA annual trade show and conference. I'm planning on attending this year as well. And board members are more than welcome to, participate as well.
Where is it gonna be?
In Boston.
in Boston?
Yeah, it's in the Seaport District.
Right. Boston Convention Center.
Convention and Exhibition Center or something like that, as opposed to Heinz.
Good, thank you. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the training, on your first bullet, you mentioned you had a meeting and you recorded it.
Yes.
Is that one of the ones you sent me? Is it
No,
via
not yet.
Zoom?
It's
not-
via Zoom.
Via Zoom, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably do that tomorrow or
Yeah.
over the weekend, I'll
Yeah.
get that to you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I just wanna make sure we have it and maybe we put it on a, I'll give it to you a link. So
Okay.
if you need to share with an employee, then you just,
Yep, if we can share it, yeah, I wanna make sure Karen gets a copy of it too, because she's gonna be sharing it with all the employees.
okay, so I'm gonna upload that to the cloud, give you the link, and that one you can share.
Okay,
It's gonna be in the cloud of our email accounts.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
That was it. Thank you. You have any questions?
Nope,
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
New business. I don't have any new business.
I don't either.
Any new business? Old business.
Well, I guess we should remind people, the 28th, right? No, 29th, Sunday.
Sunday.
What is it, the flag?
The honor and remember raising of the flag
Yeah,
at 10:30.
Sunday, the
Commons.
29th, on the Common.
She will have goodies there.
Do we have a flyer?
Yes, there's one right out there. There's
Can
one
you-
right
It's
outside.
also been on town alerts too. It'll be pushed out again.
Yeah, that'll be great. We went up like 100 more people receiving notifications on Town Alert this week, probably after the accidents.
You mean 100 new signed up?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
how many are signed up right now?
about 2,000.
All right, so not quite half the town.
Well, but if you look at it, households,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, none of my kids have it,
right.
so it was very efficiently,
Hmm.
probably after the accident. Okay, on old business, remember you asked me to participate in a meeting, which is the third Wednesday?
Yeah,
Let's make sure I get the link. If you send it, could you send it again so it gets stays at the top? Or can we
okay.
can we make a click on the calendar with the link?
Sure.
Thank you.
So send me the link.
Then she's
Okay.
gonna put it on the calendar and then it's gonna pop up on my calendar and I just click
Yeah.
and then click the link and I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, any other old business?
Nope.
Can we have like have in every meeting like a list of everything that happened on the previous meeting so we don't forget?
That's what I always wanted, yeah, like the list of.
Even if it just mention it, look, okay, yeah, we're gonna remember last time we talked about the lines of the roads or
Mhm.
that project that David had about the carpenters doing or redoing something.
Yeah,
If we just read it, mention it, if there's any update.
yeah,
So things don't go on, I'm gonna give you one very simple, which every time I leave after a meeting, I remember, oh, I forgot. We were gonna do or try to do a design or come up with something for a welcome to Warren signs.
oh, okay.
And that one just got lost, and I know it's it's bad on me, but that's an example of,
Yeah,
you can come at me as, oh, the signs for, welcome to Warren, oh, I forgot to do it. Or, yeah, I have it, or something like that, so,
yeah,
as much as we can.
So you want that like a bullet point on here?
Yeah,
Just a list of what you talked about?
yeah.
Or a
well,
list of what you are working on?
everything that basically is everything that we say that we're doing or we're gonna do and.
Or follow up
A
on.
follow-up, the list is gonna keep growing but I don't,
Maybe
feel
it's a
like-
separate piece of paper or something,
Yeah.
but.
Nothing formal, but just a list, because I feel we forget a lot of things that we were gonna do or not do. They're not important, but they,
Yeah, little
they-
things.
Little things.
Yeah, I had mentioned this a long time ago. Just, a list of ongoing, like the railroad ties.
Yeah.
That should have been on like a list every meeting, and we just keep, we
Talking
can
about
skip
it.
it or we can talk about it, but
Mhm.
just, it's in our head.
Correspondence. Is this a email for the chief
Yeah, this
You
goes
lit?
to the chief, right?
and Chief Lavoy?
So I was emailed, Mr. Chairman, this week by Mr. Eric Urban, who lives in town, and he wrote an email expressing his gratitude and his appreciation for both Chief Millet and Chief Lavoy for their hard work and professionalism within the department. And I had told Mr. Urban, thank you very much for his kind words, and I did share this with both chiefs this week, and I wanted to share this to the board as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other correspondence? Comments and concerns?
Nothing.
This could be also on that list. If we have
Yeah.
a concern from, wow, what happened with this?
Yeah.
You know.
Follow-up
Follow-up.
of some sort, yeah.
Does the public have any comments or concerns? Yes, Joe?
Joe Condrat, resident. With reference to this Sunday, the last Sunday in September of every year is Gold Star Flag Day. And this could be a learning experience. In World War II, this town lost 18 young men who never came home. Their families became Gold Star families. The flag that we will be raising is in honor of them. A lot of people don't realize that the draft ended in 1974, and in 1975 we became an all-volunteer military. Those people going in are doing so at the risk of their lives for us. Sunday morning, I hope to see people at least half my age, because they need to know the cost of going to war. Even a minor incursion someplace can take people's lives. As I said, this could be a learning experience for younger people. Although politicians call about us being a patriotic nation, we have often gone to other countries to defend their right to freedom. It's only a matter of time before we have to once again defend our right to freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, very important. I'm gonna try to be there, even I'm not half your age. I'm behind you. Any other comments or concerns from the public? Nobody on Zoom?
Nope.
All right, next meeting is October 3rd. Did you mention something about not coming to a meeting?
The 10th. I'm away on the 10th.
October 10th.
Yep.
Okay. So next is, I'm gonna have to read it in Spanish. Are we good to adjourn?
That's it? Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. We are adjourned.